5 Scotch brands are playing you, and the worst part? You're thanking them while they do it. Brand number 1 charges $200, sells 1 million bottles a year, and gets absolutely destroyed by $50 whiskey in blind tastings. Every single time. Number 5 wraps mediocre liquid in a heavy bottle with a silver stag and charges $85. Number 3 has raised prices by 130% in 15 years, while the whiskey inside hasn't changed at all. These aren't bad whiskeys, they're overpriced whiskeys. Bottles where marketing budgets exceed production costs, where packaging matters more than proof, where brand recognition justifies markups that have nothing to do with what you taste. Today, we're exposing 5 Scotch brands, robbing you blind, and revealing 5 that actually deliver value. By the end, you'll know which bottles are selling theater instead of whiskey, and which 5 prove that quality doesn't require luxury pricing. Let's start with number 5. Hashtag 5. Glenmorangie Original 10. This is the Scotch equivalent of paying full price for a student discount product. Glenmorangie markets itself as a thoughtful, elegant Highland single malt. Tall stills, careful maturation, refined character. At $45 to $55, it positions itself as premium introductory Scotch. Here's the problem. This is training wheel whiskey, priced like graduated whiskey. The specifications tell you everything. Bottled at 40% ABV, the bare minimum allowed by law. Chill filtered to remove texture. Artificially colored to create consistency. Every production choice optimized for accessibility, not quality. The flavor profile confirms it immediately. Light citrus, vanilla, floral notes that appear and vanish within seconds. There's no wait, no evolution, no reason to return to the glass after your palate develops. This isn't whiskey you grow with. This is whiskey you outgrow. Glenmorangie Original works as an introduction. The problem is the price never acknowledges that's all it is. You're paying $45 to $55 for what should cost $30. In blind tastings against other $50 single malts, Clynelish 14, Glen Scotia 15, even some younger cask strength releases, Glenmorangie Original finishes consistently at the bottom. Tasters describe it as pleasant, light, inoffensive. Those aren't compliments at $50. They're warnings. Here's what makes this particularly frustrating. Glenmorangie makes exceptional whiskey. Their wood finish series, their cask strength releases, when they commit to quality over accessibility, they deliver. But Original 10 isn't that. It's the bottle they assume you'll buy before you know better. Most drinkers do exactly that. They buy it, think Scotch is supposed to taste like this, and never explore further. That's not just overpriced. That's actively preventing people from discovering what Scotch can actually be. At $30 to $35, Glenmorangie Original would be an acceptable gateway. At $55, it's a ripoff that trades on reputation while delivering beginner-level liquid. You're paying premium prices for introductory quality, and the moment you try literally anything with more integrity, you'll realize what you've been missing. That's number 5. 4 more to expose. Chivas Regal Aston Padsmith. This is what happens when a brand realizes they can charge more by adding an age statement to mediocrity. Chivas Regal 12 sells for $30 to $40. It's fine. Bland, forgettable, designed to disappear, but fine for the price. Chivas Regal 18 sells for $80 to $100. That's double the age, nearly triple the price. And the whiskey? Marginally better at best. Here's what you're actually paying for. The number 18 printed on the label. The blend contains whiskeys aged at least 18 years. That's real. The age statement is legitimate. But age doesn't automatically mean quality. It just means time. And time in mediocre casks produces mediocre whiskey, just older. Chivas 18 offers soft honey, dried fruit, light oak, and a short finish. Everything is pleasant. Everything is polite. Everything is engineered not to challenge you. This is whiskey designed for people who want to serve something that looks impressive without actually tasting impressive. The specifications reveal the compromise. Bottled at 40% ABV, chill filtered, colored for consistency. All the same cost-cutting measures as Chivas 12, just applied to older liquid. In blind tastings against other $80 to $100 whiskeys, single malts, other premium blends, cask strength releases, Chivas 18 routinely finishes in the bottom third. Because here's the truth, age without intensity is just old blandness. 40% ABV whiskey, no matter how old, can't compete with 46% whiskey that's younger but bolder. Chill filtration, no matter the age, strips away the texture that makes whiskey memorable. Chivas 18 is selling you a number, and you're paying $70 more than Chivas 12 to own that number. The liquid doesn't justify it. The production doesn't justify it. The only thing justifying the price is your assumption that older automatically means better. It doesn't. At $50, Chivas 18 would be acceptable. At $100, it's a calculated bet that you won't compare it to anything with actual character. That bet pays off more often than it should. That's number 4. The top 3 get worse. Hashtag 3. Highland Park 18. This one hurts because Highland Park used to represent value. Used to. Highland Park 12 was once one of the best balanced single malts you could buy for $50 to $60. Touch of peat, hint of sherry, Viking branding that felt earned rather than gimmicky. Then something changed. Recent bottlings of Highland Park 12 have declined in quality. Peat-like lighter. Sherry influence thinner. Proof dropped to 40% in many markets. The whiskey hollowed out while prices crept upward. But Highland Park 18? That's where the brand's identity crisis becomes impossible to ignore. At $120 to $140, depending on your market, Highland Park 18 asks serious premium money. What it delivers is confusion. Is this a sherried whiskey? The color suggests it. The marketing implies it. But the palate never commits. There's fruit, but it's muted. There's oak, but it's restrained. Is this a peated whiskey? There's smoke, but it's so gentle you'll wonder if you imagined it. The result is whiskey, trying to be everything to everyone and succeeding at none of it. Bottled at 43% ABV. Better than 40, worse than 46. Chill filtered, colored. The specifications suggest a whiskey caught between heritage and mass production, between craft and compromise. And at $130, compromise is unacceptable. In blind tastings against other $120 to $140 single malts, Glenmorangie 18, Bunnahabhain 18, even some younger cask strength Isleys, Highland Park 18 consistently underperforms. Tasters describe it as pleasant, balanced, restrained. Read those words carefully. They're not describing intensity, complexity, or value. They're describing inoffensiveness. And inoffensive whiskey at $130 is offensive. Here's the most frustrating part. Highland Park clearly knows how to make exceptional whiskey. Their cask strength releases prove it. Their single cask bottlings prove it. But Highland Park 18, their flagship premium expression, has been optimized for mass appeal at the expense of character. The Viking branding got louder. The packaging got fancier. The price increased. The whiskey itself, it got quieter. You're paying $130 for a brand that used to mean something but now mostly means marketing. That's number 3. The next two represent everything wrong with premium Scotch pricing. Number 2, Glenfiddich 15 Solera. This is a masterclass in selling process over product. Solera sounds impressive. It's a fractional blending system where older liquid is continuously married with newer liquid, theoretically creating complexity through layering. It works beautifully for sherry production. For whiskey, it's mostly theater. Here's what Glenfiddich doesn't want you to think about. Solera aging means you're getting a blend of 15-year whiskey, 14-year whiskey, 13-year whiskey, potentially much younger whiskey, all mixed together. The average age could be significantly less than 15 years, but they can legally call it 15 because the youngest whiskey in the blend is 15. At $60 to $70, you're paying for an age statement that's technically true but functionally misleading. Now let's talk about what you actually taste. Honey, light fruit, soft spice, pleasant oak, a short finish. That's it. That's what $65 buys you. In direct comparison to Glenfiddich 12, which costs $35 to $40, the difference is marginal at best. Slightly richer mouthfeel, slightly longer finish. That's a $30 difference for slightly. The specifications reveal why. Bottled at 40% ABV, chill filtered, colored, the exact same production shortcuts as the 12-year, just applied to liquid that's supposedly older. In blind tastings against other $60 to $70 single malts, Glenfiddich 15 Solera routinely loses. Not to other 15-year whiskeys, to 12-year whiskeys, to 10-year whiskeys bottled at higher proof. Because here's the secret, Glenfiddich is betting you won't discover. Proof matters more than age. A 12-year whiskey bottled at 46% ABV, non-chill filtered, will beat a 15-year whiskey at 40% every single time. Texture beats time. Intensity beats years. Integrity beats age statements. Glenfiddich 15 Solera is charging you $30 more than the 12-year for a gimmicky aging process and 3 extra years that barely show up in the glass. That's not value. That's not quality. That's a bet that the word Solera sounds fancy enough to justify the markup. For most consumers, it works. They assume older and fancier process means better. It doesn't. It means more expensive. At $45, Glenfiddich 15 Solera would be acceptable. At $70, it's a calculated ripoff hiding behind process innovation that adds complexity to the story, but not the whiskey. That's number 2. One more to expose. The biggest offender in the entire category. Number 1, Johnnie Walker Blue Label. 1 million bottles sold every year. $200 each. $200 million in annual revenue from whiskey that loses blind tastings to bottles costing 1/4 the price. This is the most successful con in the entire spirits industry. Let's start with what Blue Label actually is. A blended Scotch containing whiskeys from multiple distilleries, aged at varying lengths, mixed together to create consistency. Nothing wrong with that. Blended Scotch can be exceptional, but Blue Label isn't exceptional. It's expensive. There's a difference. Bottled at 40% ABV, the minimum, chill filtered into submission, colored for visual perfection. Every spec designed to ensure Blue Label never offends anyone, never challenges anyone, never gives anyone a reason to question it. The flavor profile reflects that calculated inoffensiveness. Soft grain, mild honey, gentle smoke. A finish so short it might as well be imaginary. Nothing distinctive, nothing memorable, nothing worth $200. But here's what makes Blue Label brilliant as marketing. The presentation does all the work. That deep blue box, the magnetic closure, the weight of the glass, the gold label, every element designed to communicate luxury before the cork is even pulled. Most bottles of Blue Label never get critically evaluated. celebrated. They get gifted, displayed, photographed, celebrated as symbols of achievement. The liquid rarely faces honest scrutiny, and when it does, the results are devastating. In blind tastings against other premium whiskeys, removing the box, removing the brand, removing the price, Blue Label consistently loses to $50 single malts. Let me repeat that. Blue Label at $200 loses to whiskey costing $50. Professional tasters rank it below Talisker 10, below Ardbeg 10, below even some no-age statement releases that cost less than half the price. Because without the mythology, without the packaging, without the prestige, Blue Label is just smooth, forgettable blended Scotch. And smooth, forgettable blended Scotch should cost $40, not $200. Here's the math that exposes the scam. For $200, you could buy 4 bottles of Ardbeg 10, 3 bottles of Springbank 10, 2 bottles of Lagavulin 16. Every single alternative would deliver more flavor, more character, more complexity, and more value. But people don't buy Blue Label for flavor. They buy it for confidence, for status, for the ability to serve something expensive without being questioned. And Diageo, Johnnie Walker's parent company, has mastered selling that confidence. They've convinced millions of consumers that $200 is reasonable for whiskey that tastes like $40 whiskey in a $200 box. That's not craftsmanship. That's genius marketing applied to mediocre liquid. Blue Label isn't just overpriced. It's the proof that price and quality have completely disconnected in premium Scotch. It's the bottle that taught the entire industry that you can charge whatever you want as long as the packaging looks expensive enough. That's the brand robbing you most blind, because it doesn't just take your money, it convinces you to feel good about it. Those are the 5 Scotch brands where marketing overwhelmed merit, where packaging justified pricing, where smoothness replaced substance. But the truth is this: not every distillery fell into that trap. Some still make whiskey for drinkers, not collectors. Some still price honestly. Some still prove that quality doesn't require luxury. And those are the 5 we're revealing next. Everything we just exposed shares one characteristic. They're selling confidence, not complexity. 40% ABV, chill filtration, artificial coloring, marketing budgets larger than production budgets. These aren't accidents. They're business decisions. Decisions that prioritize profit margins over palate satisfaction, consistency over character, mass appeal over memorable whiskey. But whiskey wasn't meant to be safe. It was meant to taste like somewhere, like something, like the barrels it aged in and the water it was made from. The 5 brands worth the price understand this. They don't process whiskey until personality disappears. They don't smooth it into submission. They trust you to appreciate character, even when that character isn't universally loved. And that trust shows up in every specification, every production choice, every bottle. These aren't whiskeys trying to please everyone. They're whiskeys trying to be honest. Let's start with number 5. Hashtag 5. Benromach 10. This is whiskey for people who think Speyside means no peat. Benromach proves that assumption wrong and does it for $45 to $55. This is a Speyside single malt with smoke. Not Islay level intensity, but enough to remind you whiskey didn't used to be categorized into neat little boxes. Before modern production standardized everything, most Scotch had some peat influence. Benromach remembers that. Bottled at 43% ABV. Better than 40. Not chill filtered, naturally colored. Already, Benromach is making better production choices than bottles costing twice as much. The flavor profile reflects that integrity immediately. Light peat smoke opens first, followed by orchard fruit, malt sweetness, and gentle oak. The finish lingers with smoke and fruit trading places. This is complexity without chaos, balance without blandness. In blind tastings against other $45 to $55 single malts, Benromach 10 routinely outperforms whiskey with bigger brand recognition. Why? Because it prioritizes liquid over label, production over packaging. Benromach doesn't have the marketing budget of Glenfiddich or Glenmorangie. They can't afford national ad campaigns or celebrity endorsements. What they can afford? Making good whiskey and pricing it honestly. $45 to $55 for 43% ABV, non-chill filtered, naturally colored Speyside with smoke is exceptional value. This is whiskey that proves you don't need luxury pricing to deliver quality. You just need to care more about what's in the bottle than what's on it. Hashtag 4. Bunnahabhain 12, 1430 to 1600. Number 4. Bunnahabhain 12. This is Islay whiskey for people who don't think they like Islay whiskey. Most Islay malts hit you with peat smoke immediately. Bunnahabhain takes a different approach. Coastal character without aggressive smoke. At $55 to $65, it delivers everything Islay promises. Maritime influence, complexity, structure, without demanding you love peat. Bottled at 46.3% ABV. Non-chill filtered, naturally colored. Those specifications alone make Bunnahabhain 12 more honest than most whiskeys costing significantly more. The flavor opens with dried fruit and nuts, followed by sea salt, light smoke, and gentle sherry influence. The texture is oily and substantial, exactly what non-chill filtration preserves. This is coastal whiskey that trusts you to appreciate subtlety. In blind tastings against other $55 to $65 single malts, including some of the overpriced bottles we criticized, Bunnahabhain 12 consistently finishes in the top tier. Why? Because texture matters, because proof matters, because honest production matters. Bunnahabhain could bottle this at 40%, chill filter it, and save money. They don't. They maintain 46.3% and skip filtration because the whiskey deserves it. That decision, prioritizing quality over margin, is increasingly rare. At $60, Bunnahabhain 12 proves that integrity doesn't require premium pricing. It just requires giving a damn about what you're making. Number 3. Kilkerran 12. This is Campbelltown whiskey for people who've never heard of Campbelltown. Most Scotch comes from Speyside or Islay. Campbelltown, once the whiskey capital of Scotland, now has only 3 working distilleries. Kilkerran is one of them, and they're making some of the best value whiskey in Scotland. At $60 to $70, Kilkerran 12 delivers production integrity that bottles at $120 refuse to match. Bottled at 46% ABV, non-chill filtered, naturally colored, no shortcuts. The flavor profile reflects Campbelltown's unique character: light peat, coastal salinity, fruit, and oil. Everything Springbank does, Kilkerran does for $20 less. This is whiskey with personality, with texture, with honesty. In blind tastings, Kilkerran 12 routinely beats Highland Park 18, beats Glenfiddich 15, beats Chivas 18. Bottles that cost significantly more. Because production integrity beats marketing budgets. Because texture beats smoothness. Because caring about whiskey beats optimizing profit margins. Kilkerran isn't trying to be everything to everyone. It's Campbelltown whiskey, unapologetically. And at $65, it's proof that the best whiskey values aren't from the biggest brands. They're from distilleries focused on liquid, not logos. Numiers Divi, Ledaig Desmond. This is heavily peated Islay-style whiskey, except it's not from Islay, it's from Mull, and it cost $45 to $55 while delivering intensity that Islay malts charge $80 for. Ledaig is the peated expression from Tobermory Distillery. While Tobermory itself is unpeated, Ledaig brings serious smoke. Bottled at 46.3% ABV, non-chill filtered, naturally colored. From the first nose, Ledaig announces exactly what it is: peat smoke, maritime brine, tar, medicinal notes. This isn't polite, this isn't restrained. The palate delivers waves of smoke, salt, pepper, and dark fruit. The finish lingers with heat and spice. This is coastal whiskey with zero apology. In blind tastings against other peated whiskeys, including some Islay releases costing significantly more, Ledaig 10 consistently punches above its price. Why? Because it's not trying to be smooth, it's trying to be honest. At $50, you're getting intensity, texture, and character that most distilleries charge premium prices for. Ledaig proves that great peated whiskey doesn't require Islay geography or luxury pricing. It just requires commitment to making whiskey with personality. Number 1. Arran Cask Strength. This is the bottle that exposes how broken Scotch pricing has become. At $60 to $70, Arran Cask Strength delivers specifications that bottles at $150 refuse to match. Cask Strength, non-chill filtered, naturally colored, no water added, no processing, no compromise. The proof varies by batch, typically 53 to 56% ABV, but every release delivers intensity, texture, and honesty. The flavor explodes with citrus, vanilla, malt, oak, and spice. There's energy here, presence. Nothing has been stripped away. This is whiskey as it's meant to be, straight from barrel, unfiltered, uncolored, undiluted. In blind tastings against premium releases costing double, Highland Park 18, Balvenie 17 double wood, even some sherried malts at $120, Arran Cask Strength routinely finishes at or near the top. Let that sink in. A $65 bottle beating $120 bottles consistently. Because here's what makes Arran Cask Strength the #1 value. It proves that quality doesn't require age statements, doesn't require famous names, doesn't require luxury pricing. It just requires honesty. Isle of Arran Distillery could bottle this at 43%, chill filter it, add color, and sell it for $50 while increasing profit margins. They don't. They maintain cask strength, skip filtration, and price it fairly because the whiskey deserves respect. When you pay for Arran Cask Strength, you're paying for decisions that cost more but deliver better whiskey. You're paying for integrity. Compare this to what you get for $200 with Blue Label. Compare it to $130 with Highland Park 18. The gap becomes impossible to ignore. Arran Cask Strength is proof that the best Scotch values exist, that distilleries can prioritize quality and still price fairly. Skip the illusions, skip the marketing. Buy the bottle that proves integrity matters more than image. That's worth every penny. Here's the one rule that will save you hundreds of dollars. Specifications matter more than stories. When you're looking at a Scotch bottle, ignore everything except 3 things. 1. A BV. If it's 40% with no good reason, walk away. 43 minimum, 46 preferred. Cask strength ideal. 2. Filtration. If they don't mention it, assume chill filtered. If they say non-chill filtered, reward that transparency. 3. Coloring. Natural color means they're proud of actual cask influence. Artificial color means they're hiding something. These 3 specifications tell you more about quality quality than any marketing story, any heritage claim, any celebrity endorsement. Brands proud of their whiskey shout these details. Brands hide in compromises, bury them. The best Scotch doesn't need heavy bottles to feel substantial. It doesn't need deep color to look mature. It doesn't need ornate boxes to seem premium. It needs proof, texture, and honesty. Everything else is theater. Smart Scotch drinkers think like investors, not collectors. They calculate value, quality divided by price. They compare specifications, not brands. 46% non-chill filtered at $60 beats 40% chill filtered at $100 every time. They taste blind when possible. Remove the label, remove the price, let the liquid speak. They ignore smoothness as a metric. Premium whiskey should have presence, not just absence of roughness. They buy what rewards attention, not what impresses guests. The Scotch industry trained consumers to chase prestige. Smart drinkers chase specifications instead. The 5 brands robbing you blind: Glenmorangie Original, Chivas 18, Highland Park 18, Glenfiddich 15 Solera, and Johnnie Walker Blue Label represent everything wrong with modern Scotch pricing. Premium prices for minimum specifications, marketing budgets exceeding production costs, smoothness valued over substance. They succeed because they sell confidence. The confidence to serve something expensive without being questioned. But expensive doesn't mean better. The 5 brands worth the price: Benromach 10, Bunnahabhain 12, Kilkerran 12, Ledaig 10, and Arran Cask strength prove that quality and fairness can coexist. Higher proof, no filtration, natural color, honest pricing. They don't need luxury packaging because the whiskey doesn't need help. Next time you're buying Scotch, ignore the boxes, ignore the age statements, ignore the brand names you recognize. Look for specifications: a BV above 43, non-chill filtered, naturally colored. Those 3 details tell you if the distillery trusts you or if they're hoping you won't ask questions. If this video saves you from one overpriced bottle, it's done its job. Subscribe to Cask Index and see you in the next one.